I see many patients who are healthy but tired. They're high-performing corporate types who, for some reason, feel flat. Their concentration is off, their energy is bouncing around all over the place. One of the first things we look at is their fluid intake, and more importantly, the type of fluids they're drinking. Today I'm talking about energy drinks and why they actually rob you of energy rather than helping you to boost it. Let's get started, shall we?
Well, hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Project Joyful podcast. I'm your host, Tracy Tutty, your medical herbalist and high performance coach. So, hey, Project Joyful isn't just about being happy. It's about consciously creating a life you love. It's about remembering how to reconnect with your soul-centered joy. You know, that joy that comes from doing what you love, from living on purpose, and from being in a life that allows you to experience deep joy moment by moment. So hey, let's get started, shall we?
Many of my patients seek me out because they feel low in energy. This can show up as waking up tired, feeling flat, lacking concentration, or feeling heavy in their body. One of the things that we talk about is whether they're consuming energy drinks. Most of my patients are corporate high achievers, so it's not uncommon for them to finish off a large can of Red Bull or V before lunch and then have another one mid-afternoon to get them through. A 2018 study of 8,500 New Zealand students found that 35% of them had drunk an energy drink in the past week, and 12% of those 8,500 students drank energy drinks more than 4 times a week. And here's the thing, when it comes to energy drinks or anything that we're doing, our kids are watching us. That potent mix of adolescence, high caffeine and high sugar intake taken through these energy drinks has been associated with symptoms of depression, anxiety, binge drinking and insulin resistance. And the World Health Organization signalled its concern back in 2014 and even went so far as to suggest a sugar tax in 2016 due to the excessive sugar intake being associated with obesity, diabetes and tooth decay. And they weren't only concerned about the high sugar levels in these energy drinks, but also the high caffeine levels. An excess of caffeine can cause palpitations, high blood pressure, vomiting, convulsions, and at its worst, it can cause heart failure. So how much caffeine and sugar are we talking about in these drinks? So if I use 500 ml as the comparative volume, a Rockstar Punched Energy with Guava tops the bill with 21 teaspoons of sugar and 160 milligrams of caffeine. Rockstar Super Sours Green Apple has the same amount of caffeine but just 17 teaspoons of sugar. V Carnival has 17 teaspoons of sugar and 155 milligrams of caffeine. Monster has 14 teaspoons of sugar and 160 milligrams of caffeine. Now Red Bull is sold as a 473 ml can, so if I adjust the measurements to reflect 500 ml, we're also looking at 14 teaspoons of sugar and 160 milligrams of caffeine, so the same as Monster Energy. Now an ounce or 1 shot of espresso has around 63 milligrams of caffeine. So if we compare it to V Carnival, my question to you is, would you drink a coffee that had 2.5 shots and 17 teaspoons of sugar? Would you have another one in the afternoon to keep you going? The other ingredients included in energy drinks, they say they're there to give you a boost. This is the taurine, the L-carnitine, and the gluconeurolactone. Carnitine transports long-chain fatty acids into your mitochondria so that they can burn them to produce energy. Now, you don't build long-term energy by working the machine more. You create an environment that breeds more machines. Taurine calms you down, and energy drink manufacturers claim that taurine boosts endurance. This is based on a very small number of studies, most of which they sponsored, and these findings have not been supported by larger studies. The biggest challenge with relying on energy drinks for energy is that both caffeine and sugar provide that initial peak and then that crash, causing you to reach for another energy drink to sustain you. It gives you the feeling of alertness, but it doesn't work with your body to generate long-term improvements in energy production. In fact, it uses up vital resources in mitigating the effects of a sugar caffeine hit. The other cause for concern is that your body is really clever. It's constantly adapting to give you the survivor's edge. And this means that you become habituated to the energy drink and you need more caffeine and more sugar to feel the same effects. Go without for even just 24 hours, and you're enduring debilitating headaches, you're super cranky, and your digestion is all over the place. And that's just the people who aren't sensitive to caffeine. Feeling low in energy can affect our performance at work and at home, and it's an issue that I'm seeing more of in the clinic. We need to find a way to move from the symptomatic short-term solution, which actually reduces your energy in the long term, to a more measured approach to building our energy, building up that reservoir so that we can draw on those reserves when we need it. So what's the answer to our dwindling energy reserves? In short, it's about working with your body, not against it. Begin by creating an energy-supporting lifestyle that increases the health of our mitochondria, those tiny powerhouses who are responsible for creating our sources of energy. I'm going to be sharing 3 tips next week on what you can do to improve the ability of your body to generate more energy. Speak to you next week. Sending you lots of love. Bye for now.
Hey, thanks for listening to today's podcast. Can I ask you a favour? If our conversation spoke to you today, could you please take a moment to leave a 5-star review? Your review will help people discover this podcast, and together we can create a world where there's even more love and more laughter. And if you want to hear more from the Project Joyful podcast, just click the subscribe button. Bye for now.